Hi, I'm Nathan. I go by Peteparker, and every week I do comic book reviews because that's the rule around my house. If I want to keep buying them, then I have to review them. This review is for the Marvel Universe versus Wolverine. It's kind of hard to say. Number 1 of 4. If you have read the previous series, or the after series, since this is a prequel, of the Marvel Universe versus the Punisher, you kind of get a little bit of an idea of what this is going to be about. So basically, in that other series, there's an infection going around. It affects all the mutants, or not the mutants, all the superpowered humans, and they start eating each other, starting with Spider-Man. He's the first one infected. And in that one, the Punisher has to kill everybody because they've all become infected. He's like the last uninfected super guy or whatever. In this one, it's kind of a prequel to that, so it's Wolverine dealing with how he's finding out about these people being infected and how he's fighting it. And to me, it was terrible. I liked the other series generally. I didn't love it. It was interesting, and it was its own unique story, so I was hoping that this would be the same thing. I didn't really read exactly what the story was. This is written by Jonathan Mayberry and also Lawrence Campbell and Lee Loughridge. Are all the contributors on here, but that's not what this story is. This is the story of Wolverine understanding that bad things are happening and then having to deal with it as everybody becomes infected. And I found it to be pretty freaking boring. A lot of times Wolverine's running around looking for stuff, looking for Psylocke's killer for a while. And there's no real reveal about that. And then they have one infected one. They have Spider-Man, they being the Fantastic Four. And they're not really doing anything with him except observing him. And there's nothing they can do. It just seems like they're not really cautious about this. I mean, Spider-Man started eating people, right? And they just kind of ignored it altogether. Everybody did. And they talk about it a little bit, how that's weird or whatever, that they saw it coming, or they saw that it was, you know, a bad thing, but they had too much on their plates, so they weren't really going to worry about it. At least that's what Wolverine's saying. But then it got worse and worse and worse, and then it loops back around to him talking about how he had to kill all the other X-Men or whatever, right? Which is kind of what you get, right? I don't really remember where Wolverine was in the next series or whatever. But, you know, I figured that a lot of the X-Men were dead anyway. Wolverine killing them kind of makes sense. It is the name of the book, but really that's not what you got. What I was hoping for out of this series was different situations, battle scenarios, where Wolverine has to use his abilities and his know-how to kill these people that are really hard to kill otherwise, that are also his friends. But that's not this at all. Oh, and if you are buying this, then you have to ignore the horrible set of hands on this cover. Like, I don't have a problem with, you know, weird perspective or anything, and it might not come across on this camera very well, but those hands, they look like they're the backs of hands with the fingers curled in towards the backs, which is really bad. But anyway, I noticed that right away. I was like, yikes. The rest of it is totally different. It's not that bad art, as I showed you. They got some kids in here eating their parents or something, and Wolverine's like, huh, that's not good. That's the end of the world, and that's the end. That's not the end of the book, but I mean, that's all he thought about that. And then he went back and told the Fantastic Four, and they're like, huh, kids eating parents, huh? That's probably not good. You know, I don't know. Reactions were weird. The writing's kind of weird. And it kind of was in the other book too, but at least you got more action going through the whole thing. The whole plot was behind the scenes, and you didn't really have to worry about it. In this one, the plot's the focus instead of, you know, being the behind the scenes, why this is happening kind of thing. It might get better in the next 3 issues, but I probably won't be buying it to find that out. I'll be flipping through it to see if there's any cool scenes for the next ones. And if there are cool enough scenes, then maybe I'll buy it, but I probably won't. So there you go. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 2 out of 5. It's kind of a subpar book out there, but if you really loved the Punisher versus the Marvel Universe, or Marvel Universe versus Punisher, then maybe you'll love it too. But I didn't. So there you go. you want to see my other reviews, check out Spidey207 on YouTube and Peteparker elsewhere. Otherwise, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.